You might not like me after you watch this video, but I feel like you need to hear the truth. And the purpose of this video is not to tear anyone down or get anyone in their feelings. I truly want to help you, and sometimes harsh realities can actually help you in the long run, and I've learned this firsthand. So today I want to lay down the biggest things that I see holding back everyone from beginner to professional musicians from getting to where they want to be in their career. But I also want to give you the solutions to get past these problems. And there's one main thing that's holding back most musicians, but everyone tries to avoid it. Everyone wants to ignore it because it hurts our egos more than anything else as a musician. But before I get into that, let's start with something that you may not realize is actually harming your career. You're not thinking about the consumer. So often, I see it romanticized to make music for yourself and not care what anyone else thinks. But unless you plan on writing yourself checks for your music, you're not going to get paid making music just for yourself. You might actually be pretty good at making music, but you might be unintentionally making music selfishly, then wondering why other people won't use it. If you want people to use or pay for your music, you need to think about your product from their point of view. For example, making complicated beats with all the cool production techniques we know is super fun to do. If your beats are so complicated that nobody can rap or sing on them, why would you expect anyone to use them? Sometimes as a producer, it can be hard to tell if it's usable or not because we're not rappers or singers. So one thing I like to do to make sure that I'm making beats that could fit an artist and not just making them for myself is I'll throw a test acapella over a beat that I just made and see if the vocal fits in nicely with the rest of the sounds. To help you actually see this instead of me just talking about it, let me give you an example. So I have this beat that I made with my up-and-coming Elements of Soul kit, which you can get the free version of right now, by the way, and it sounds pretty cool to me by itself. But let's hear what it sounds like when I put an acapella on it.
Walk around with my chest out and my skin smooth, I'm healthy. I'm in a mix and I'm handshaking, but most of y'all can't help it. Most of y'all ain't welcome.
It sounds like there's way too much going on and there's no room for the vocal to breathe and be the star of the show. So I'm gonna go in, adjust the volumes, and get rid of some unnecessary sounds.
LV, walk around with my chest out and my skin.
That crash is taking up too much space right there. I feel like this fill at the end sounds cool.
Most of y'all ain't welcome.
But it just takes up too much space. And then these extra perks just don't need to be here. So when we take all these out, and then let's also lower the volume of these hi-hats because the high end is really taking up space that the vocal needs. Let's lower the melody a little bit so that the vocal can be the main melody. And then let's just lower all of the drum sounds just a bit, just to create more space for the vocal. And let's hear how much better that sounds.
You smell me, that's LV. Walk around with my chest out and my skin smooth, I'm healthy. I'm in a mix and I'm handshaking, but most of y'all can't help it. Most of y'all ain't wealthy. Most of y'all just dress like it. I caught the vibe that y'all giving off and I'm trying to make.
So even though the beat like this might not sound as cool to us as producers, it sounds better as a full song with a vocal, and that's really the end goal, right? Now, let's assume that you've been doing music for a while and you're pretty confident that your music is good. You could be wrong, but I'm gonna get into that later. Sometimes your music isn't what's holding you back. You might have amazing music, but you probably suck at the business side of things if you're not seeing the success that you want. Most musicians that I know are guilty of thinking like a starving artist and not like businessmen. They're solely focused on making music and they don't apply that same amount of effort into actually making money with their music. Then they wonder why they haven't found the success that they want. And I mean, it's pretty obvious when you think about it objectively. If you don't put effort into thinking of and learning effective ways to monetize your craft, why would you expect it to pay you? You wouldn't expect to be the next Metro Boomin if you only made one beat a month. So why should you make a lot of money if you're putting in the bare minimum amount of work on that side of things? You have to think of your music like a product. What product am I making? Who am I trying to get it to? How am I going to get it to them? And in my opinion, most importantly, why would someone choose your product over someone else's? If your answer is just that your music is better, it's kind of a weak argument. There's no shortage of good music nowadays, so you need to provide more value than anyone else. Let's say I'm planning on making a trap loop kit for producers. We have my What trap loop kit and we have my Who trap producers. So how am I going to get this kit in front of those trap producers? You could do a couple things. You could run Facebook and Instagram ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, TikTok, Snapchat ads, influencer marketing, making your own content using your kit. There's a ton of options to get your product out there. But the most important question is, why would someone choose your trap loop kit over the next producer's trap loop kit? Realistically, your music is probably not 10 times better than the next producer's. So if you're planning on dropping a kit with 30 loops for $30, you're doing the bare minimum. minimum. You're practically offering no value to your customer, especially with all of the options to get loops for way cheaper or for free nowadays. So instead of just having that 30 loops, you could add a drum kit, presets, a MIDI pack, one-shots, an exclusive tutorial on how you make those loops, a folder of go-to sounds, PDFs of how to do stuff. I mean, the options are limitless. Assuming that your music is actually good, if you have all of these bonus, your product is going to stand out. Since it stands out, it's way easier to market and sell because it's a lot more valuable. And you can take that same principle and apply it to anything in music. If you want to sell more beats, sell a big beat bundle that comes with a ton of extra bonuses. Add a bunch of resources for artists like mixing services, a lifetime discount on your other beats, vocal chain presets. Find some tutorials or blogs about how to get your music on Spotify playlists. I mean, you have to get creative here. Just think of anything that you could add to your product to give more value to that person. I promise if you offer more value than the rest, it's going to be a lot easier to find more success. But let's say you're less sales driven and you're more focused on getting major placements. You might suck at another aspect of the business side. If your attempt at networking is just DMing people saying, let's work, you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to create a big network. Just like I talked about with the products, you have to find a way to offer value to who you want to work with. If you aren't at a similar level to them in your career, just saying let's work isn't really offering them any value because you probably don't have a lot of valuable opportunities to actually give them. So if you aren't big and you don't have a bunch of opportunities for them, you're gonna want to get creative in how you offer them value. Whether that's using money as an incentive, making free content for them to promote their stuff. You can make a free thumbnail for a bigger YouTube producer. You can make a free cover art. You have to get creative and stop doing what everyone else is doing to try to find a shortcut. That's not to say that other people's strategies won't work for you, but if all you do is copy and paste other people's strategies, what really makes you unique and stand out? Now, like I said before, this last reason might hurt your ego. Everyone wants to blame something else. The market's oversaturated. It's all luck. I just don't know the right people, or whatever your excuse is. But by far, the biggest thing in my opinion holding back musicians is because your music sucks. Before you click off this video, your music might not actually suck, but you might not be as good as you think. As music gets more and more oversaturated, the bar for having amazing music keeps getting higher and higher because there's more talented producers now than ever. Average music just isn't cutting it anymore. You have to be truly exceptional to beat the competition. I see so many musicians complaining that the market is the reason that they can't make money with their music. First of all, I'll tell you from experience, that's not true. But 9 times out of 10, when I listen to their music, it might actually be decent, but it's not amazing. Your music really has to be mind-blowing if you really want any of these business strategies to be effective for you. I heard this piece of advice from Alex Hormozi, and it definitely stands true. You can spend years trying your hardest to sell a shit product, or you can spend years making an amazing product that sells itself. And to take that a step further, if you can make an amazing product and also have amazing marketing, you can dominate. So make sure to humble yourself from time to time and keep your grasp on reality in check. I'm all for being confident in your work and enjoying making music, but if you're not seeing the results you want, sales, streams, placements, or whatever it is, you're probably just not good enough. If your music isn't great, no marketing tactic, no networking, no hustle is gonna save you and give you the success that you really desire. You might be a beginner who simply hasn't put enough time in yet, or you might be a professional musician who's just not good enough yet to get to the level that you want to get on. And I really want to stress this. It's okay if you're not there yet. There's no shame in it at all. Everyone who's on the top has been in your shoes before. There's a reason why I'm not on every single Drake album yet, even if I think in my mind that my music is good enough to be there. But if you're entitled enough to believe you deserve great success when you don't even have great music, you're being delusional. I truly believe that this is what's holding back the majority of musicians, whether you realize it or not. But like I said, I'm not just here to tell you you suck to get you down. I want to actually give you some practical solutions that you can use to start getting better. The first thing you need to do is actually put in the time and repetitions to get good at making music. One thing I would recommend doing to get better at making beats or making melodies is take some days out of the week and treat making music as a drill or a practice. Set the goal that you're going to make 5 beats in 5 hours and have no expectations of the beats being amazing. Just actually put the reps in. I guarantee if you're making 5 beats a day, you're going to get better a lot faster than you would have even if you were just making 1 beat a day. You're not only going to learn more about music as you make more of it, but you're also gonna learn how to move fast, which is gonna help you a lot in the long run. Another thing you should 100% be doing is getting honest, brutal feedback on your music. The reason nobody tells you your stuff sucks is because it's not fun to tell someone that. So if I were you, what I would do is gather 4 to 5 friends who you respect musically and create a group chat with them. Have everyone in the chat send beats and melodies that they make in every day, and create the agreement with everyone to be 100% brutally honest and put your emotions and feelings about your music aside. You want truly honest people who are going to tell you when something isn't it, but also give you advice on how you could improve it. From personal experience, I can tell you that getting negative feedback on something I was excited about feels terrible in the moment, but overall, it really helps me improve and get better at making music a lot faster. I don't want your takeaway from this video to be, well, I suck, I'm just gonna quit. That's not the point at all. I've just personally seen so many people looking outwards for the reasons that they're not getting the success that they want, when in reality, you're probably the reason. Your success is in your control. And although it could be intimidating, to me, that's a good thing. You have all the power to improve your music, your business, your networking. I believe that if you level up in all of those areas, the success is gonna come to you. But if you think I'm full of shit and you just wanna know how you can get started making money today, let me know in the comments, and then click this video right here where you can find out how you can make $10,000 a month as a producer.